Let's talk honestly about something most people avoid thinking about. What actually happens if you reach 60 and realize you don't have enough saved? Not a little behind. Not I could optimize a bit. I mean genuinely underprepared. The kind of situation where retirement is no longer a choice, it's a question mark. At 30, 60 feels far away. At 40, it feels manageable. At 50, it starts to feel real. And at 60, it's no longer theoretical. It's here. The first thing that happens isn't financial. It's emotional. There's a quiet anxiety that shows up. You start doing math in your head more often. You look at your bank account differently. You begin calculating how many more years you can realistically work. And that word retirement stops sounding like freedom and starts sounding like risk. In America, retirement is largely self-funded. Social Security helps, but for most people it was never designed to fully replace your income. The average monthly benefit is enough to survive modestly, not to maintain the lifestyle most people are used to. So if savings are low, the reality is simple: you keep working. Sometimes that's fine. Many people enjoy working. But the difference between choosing to work and needing to work is enormous. One feels empowering. The other feels heavy. And here's something people don't talk about enough: the job market changes as you age. Energy changes. Health changes. Industries evolve. Not every 60-year-old can or wants to compete the same way they did at 35. If your savings aren't there, flexibility disappears. You can't easily say no to a bad job. You can't easily relocate. You can't easily take a break. And that's where the real pressure begins. Now let's talk about healthcare. At 60, health isn't what it was at 30. Even if you've taken care of yourself, the odds of medical expenses rise sharply. And in the United States, healthcare is one of the biggest financial risks in retirement. Medicare begins at 65. That means if you retire earlier without sufficient savings, you may need to bridge 5 years of private insurance. That can cost thousands of dollars per year. And even after Medicare starts, it doesn't cover everything. There are premiums, deductibles, prescriptions, supplemental plans. If savings are thin, every medical decision starts to feel financial. Should I see a specialist? Can I afford this procedure? What if something major happens? That kind of stress compounds over time. Financial insecurity doesn't just affect your wallet, it affects your sleep, your blood pressure, your relationships. Then there's housing. By 60, ideally your home is paid off or close to it. But many Americans still carry mortgages, property taxes, maintenance costs. If savings are low, housing becomes your largest fixed expense. Downsizing may help, but selling in the wrong market, moving away from community, or renting in an expensive area can create new problems. And then there's inflation. The money you have today won't buy the same lifestyle in 10 or 20 years. Retirement isn't a one-year event. It can last 20 or even 30 years. That means your savings don't just need to exist, they need to last. Running out of money at 75 is a much scarier scenario than running low at 60. That's the uncomfortable truth. But here's the part that matters most: reaching 60 without enough saved is not the end of the story. It's a critical turning point. So what actually changes at 60 if savings are low? Time becomes your most limited resource. At 30, you can recover from financial mistakes over decades. At 60, you don't have 30 years of compounding left. You may have 5, maybe 10 working years if health allows. That compresses your options. You might delay claiming Social Security to increase your monthly benefit. You might reduce expenses aggressively. You might take on part-time work. You might even rethink what retirement means entirely. For some people, retirement becomes semi-retirement. Consulting. Contract work. Turning a skill into income. Monetizing experience instead of starting from scratch. And here's something encouraging: at 60, You have something you didn't have at 30: perspective. You understand risk better. You know what truly matters. You're less likely to chase trends and more likely to make deliberate decisions. But discipline becomes non-negotiable. Spending must align with reality. Lifestyle adjustments may be necessary. Vacations might be simpler. Cars might be kept longer. Large financial risks become dangerous. Another truth: family dynamics can shift. Adult children may still need support. Or parents may require care. Financial pressure at 60 often intersects with responsibility on both ends. It's called the sandwich generation for a reason. Without savings, boundaries become harder to enforce. And yet, this stage can still be powerful. Because awareness at 60 is far better than denial at 60. If you face the numbers honestly, you regain control. You may not have ideal circumstances, but you can design a realistic strategy. Cut what doesn't matter. Protect what does. Strengthen income. Delay big withdrawals. The worst scenario isn't being underprepared. The worst scenario is pretending you're not. Let's talk about something deeper than numbers: identity. For decades, your identity may have been tied to your work. Your role. Your productivity. Your ability to earn. If you reach 60 without enough saved, stepping away from work doesn't just feel financially risky. It can feel psychologically destabilizing. Work provides structure, community, purpose. If you're forced to continue working longer than planned, resentment can build. If you're forced to stop working without financial security, fear can build. Neither extreme feels good. But here's the honest truth: retirement was never meant to be permanent leisure. It was meant to be financial independence. The freedom to choose how you spend your time. If savings are low at 60, the goal shifts from full retirement to maximum flexibility. That might mean relocating to a lower cost state. It might mean renting out part of your home. It might mean eliminating debt aggressively. It might mean selling assets that no longer serve you. It might also mean having uncomfortable conversations. With your spouse. With your children. With yourself. Transparency reduces anxiety. Hiding numbers increases it. There's also a powerful mindset shift available at 60: simplicity. Many people discover they don't actually need as much as they thought. Status becomes less important. Experiences become more valuable. Peace becomes priceless. If you're 60 and underprepared, you're not alone. Millions of Americans are in the same position. That doesn't normalize the problem, but it removes the shame. And shame is one of the most expensive emotions in finance. It prevents action. The real question isn't, am I behind? The real question is, what can I control starting today? Here's the part most people don't expect. Reaching 60 without enough saved does not automatically mean financial disaster. It means you must be strategic, calm, intentional. There are levers you can still pull. You can delay Social Security to increase your lifetime payout. You can reduce fixed expenses before retirement instead of after. You can eliminate high-interest debt. You can reassess investments to balance growth and stability. You can extend your earning years even slightly. And even a few extra years of income can dramatically improve long-term security. Small adjustments at 60 have outsized impact because every dollar preserved matters more. And here's something else that's rarely said out loud: freedom in your 60s doesn't always come from having millions. It comes from having clarity. If your expenses are controlled, your housing is stable, your healthcare plan is understood, and you have even modest savings combined with Social Security, stability is possible. Maybe not luxury, but stability. And stability brings dignity. The real risk isn't turning 60 without enough money. The real risk is turning 60 without a plan. If you're in your 40s or 50s watching this, this isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up while you still have leverage. If you're already 60, it's not too late to regain control. Run the numbers. Simplify. Protect your health. Extend your income where possible. Focus on what you can influence. Retirement is not a finish line. It's a financial structure. Build it honestly. Because the earlier you confront reality, the more power you have over it.